Sales motivation, know your numbers, and love cold calling. In this video, which has been taken from the salesman.org archives, you're going to learn how to get incredibly motivated to cold call by the simple process of knowing your numbers. Let's look at how you can get motivated to sell over the phone more often. Because I want to get real practical with this. And so I'm going to run you through the numbers of where I am right now. Clearly this might change depending on when you watch this video, but this is as literal as I can make it in this moment. So these are the numbers as I record this video that I need to hit essentially to win new business with the Sales School product as it is. So once we've been through this, you should be able to calculate your own numbers in a very similar way. And then hopefully you'll have the same massive motivation to phone sell that I do right now. So my numbers, on average, you, me, everyone else, you're going to have to make several calls to get to one decision maker and get them on the phone. Now, when people are half expecting my call, because I've emailed ahead and I said I'd be calling at a specific time and date, well, they usually look into the podcast content, the content over at salesman.org. So I might be slightly ahead of you right now, just in this moment, because I've built a strong personal brand and hopefully I've got the position of a legendary advisor in the sales industry, especially in B2B, just because of all the content that we've put out and the conversations that I've had. But none of these numbers that we're talking about here are unrealistic if you put in the effort. So when I get 3 decision makers on the phone, one of them gives me a genuine appointment. One just completely blows me off, and then one gives me a wishy-washy appointment. So typically I'll forget the latter 2 and just focus on the decision maker who seems qualified and that proactively happy to speak with me. So after this next call with a qualified, excited potential partner, I usually end up further qualifying them and then sending a proposal to about half of those individuals. And then about half of those people sign up their sales team to the Sales School within a 14-day period. At which point there is a hard stop on the invoice, the proposal, and the price rises. And this is where I mark my people who haven't bought them in that period as unqualified in my CRM. This may be different for you. If you work for a big company, you might be chasing people down for months on end to get things signed. But for us, where we are right now, with the growth of the Sales School being essentially as fast as I can handle it, I can't take on much more work than what we're doing right now because we need to put processes in place, all this good stuff. Obviously a good problem to have. Well, if people don't sign up in 14 days, they're clearly not that excited and bothered about it, and so they're probably not going to be the best customer. So that's where we're at. Therefore, looking at the maths, when I drill it back from our average B2B to enterprise size customers and see how many calls I need to make to get one signed purchase order and people onboarded, I need to make about 80 phone calls. It's not that many, is it? Now, if I said to you, assuming a similar number of steps in your process and a similar success rate, that you only need to call 80 people and you're going to win a deal, hopefully that would be somewhat exciting enough. Let me give you more context here because my average deal size is around £22,000, whatever that is in dollars, like 30 grand or so. And for these partners that I'm cold calling, if you divide the total revenue by the number of calls, I frame it in my mind as I'm getting paid around £275 for every single call that I make. Now that is motivating, that does get me going. Therefore, when I sit down to make cold calls pretty much every morning, I definitely don't do 80 in a day. I don't have the time for that because I'm obviously got other responsibilities. But when we get new salespeople, when we hire a couple of salespeople to take over some of my sales roles, that's what they'll be doing. So when I sit down and make cold calls every morning, I get excited because it doesn't matter if it's a rejection, someone being rude, if it's a positive response that gets flung at me. Because every time I pick up that damn phone, I'm making around 275 quid. That, I don't care who you are, is motivating. Now, of course, this is revenue and not profit, and I'm perhaps having a likely higher success rate than most people because of my personal brand, the podcast, and all that good stuff. But at the time of recording this video, let's be real, I've only been creating the content for the podcast at Sales School for about 4 years, and the Sales School has been opened in less than 12 months. So, with that said, what I'm doing, what I've achieved, is achievable by anyone. Anyone who puts any effort can do what I've done within their specific industry, and so this is not and these numbers are not a stretch of anyone's imagination. So next up on the motivation front, by understanding the fact that I'm making money every single time I call a potential partner, I start to build a self-fulfilling hunting prophecy. Now, I'm not sitting there visualizing the call and trying to wire my brain to assume success every time I pick up the phone. But because I can see the big picture, because I'm not getting caught up in any rudeness and I'm not getting caught up in the moment, I'm able to fly through, say, 10 calls back to back without taking a break. I'm not taking any rejection or objections personally, as at this stage, the individuals are pretty much just numbers to me. So this creates a self-fulfilling prospecting prophecy because I know my numbers. Therefore, I know that if I make enough calls during the week, which for me, I think my current target is about 40 calls, I will close enough deals on the back of them to hit my own personal sales targets, my internal targets here in the sales school. So when you think in weeks of 40 calls, 40 calls, 40 calls, and in months rather than days, it's very hard for you to get knocked down. It's very hard for any rejection to ping through your armor when you think of it in a long term. And the diagram on the screen right now sums this up perfectly. So the positive expectation of success leads you onto a positive phone selling experience, which leads to positive results, which then feeds back into step one of the positive expectation that you have in your mind. Your subconscious mind specifically will support you in all of this. When you believe that calling people on the phone, when hunting for new partners is a powerful tool, your brain filters out all of the signals from both individual conversations themselves that might disprove this, and also the environment or people around you telling you cold calling doesn't work, and it just leaves the good stuff in. This creates an even stronger feedback loop when it goes round again. It creates a flywheel effect almost, and this strong self-fulfilling prophecy that you're a killer on the phone essentially comes to fruition by just having that initial momentum in the first place. This is how some people can be absolutely savages on the phone, whereas other people, even though they've got the same script in front of them, they fall flat on their face after just 2 or 3 calls on a Monday morning. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click subscribe, leave a comment below what you thought about the video and the content itself, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.